Now, I think Christian fundamentalism and extremism is a hindrance to the new presentation, what the wonderful worldwide educators are doing, um, especially in Africa, where people want to see proof of the new presentation or the real guides or the olives, because they imagine that the olives is a kind of supreme date or something. So people flock to sermons, to these churches where you have charismatic pastors who perform miracles and wonders in front of people, in front of the whole congregation. The blind are seeing, the lame are walking, and all the like. Witchcraft is done away with on the spot. It's really some kind of drama. I don't know what to say about it. So people want to see these kind of things happen in their lives, especially the African new friends, new supporters, not new friends again, who have been through a lot of misery brought on by witchcraft and all the kind of negative things that they can get that happens when people are attacked from the lower astral. So our message seems to be challenging and speaking from some kind of high horse of superiority and maybe creating resistance, which is not helping the worldwide wake up call. So, is there a way we can build bridges into these large groups of people who are adamant, who are fixed in their own consciousness? I don't know, because the aim of the new presentation is to get it out there to people. So, is there a way we can build bridges into these communities of people who are fixated in their old ways of doing things? Well,
kind of according to what you're saying there, Charles, you know, each person's going to create their own adventure with this. That's understandable. Okay. So, and people are going to create their ideas about it. That's understandable. They've got to deal with that. And so instead of the way I look at it, I like to look at things different, to see what's not seen. So I decided a long time ago to look at things differently instead of always trying to figure out, try to, just keep considering the same way how things have been created. Okay, you got creation, it's there. All right. That's like waking up in the morning and going to your front door and saying to yourself and thinking, oh, the door is closed, it's not open yet. So I'll just turn around and I'll go back to bed. Okay. And then so you go back to bed. And then you sleep for a while and actually you get more tired as you sleep as you are tired, you get more tired from too much sleep. So you get up, you do the same thing. You go to the front door and it's like, oh, the door is still closed. I'll go back to bed. So that's kind of funny, isn't it? That's kind of a funny analogy. We don't do that. For the most part, we don't. But this is how robotized and agreeable people have become. This is why on the real side that the house demonstrates the personal self where people like to be. They like to be in their house. They like their personal self. But actually, if you walked up, you got to open the door, don't you? Somebody going to open it for you? Maybe the kids come home and they open it, but realistically, you have to open that door. And this is how people are. This is how they've been taught. They have been indoctrinated to think that, some authority or something is going to do it for them. There's going to be the magic pill or whatever, etc. Again, so these are the stories that have been created in the past. Jesus does miracles and whatever, and people are, it's 2,000 years, are still waiting. Okay, well, you can just keep waiting, and you can actually wait forever. But this is how I see it with the isness, and that is, yes, you, instead of thinking these things all the time, and etc., and this and that, yes, again, see where the thinking lies, but it's in the seeing. Learn to see what is real. It's not about thinking. This is where recognition comes in. It's learning to see it. And just like, yes, we have as an example, and this is an easy one because it's right there, we know what the governments of the world are doing to this human farming population. But not everybody can see that, can they? They can think whatever they like. It's still there. It's still doing what it's doing. But there's a few of us that can see through it, can't we? We can see it. Yet at the same time, we're here, we're doing our thing with it. We're living the so-called life. If you want to call this living, I sure don't. This is struggling to survive. And that is that, again, it's agreement. It's this mind. It's this personal thing. And you can keep, again, it's being self-convinced and it's looking to authorities instead of learning to see beyond it. And this is this is the meaning of perceiving. And I notice that some people, they have experiences and they're saying, well, I perceive this or whatever. That's really not the meaning, but you can use it. I'm not going to say no, it's fine. But I created that word perceiving. And that is that when the person really recognizes the isness, and they can see what it is, this all aliveness, and they can understand how it is according to their real awareness. That is perceiving. So here we really have, and this is where things are going to start to get funny too. People are going to think that, oh, you figured this out in creation, so you're perceiving it. You see? I don't use that. When I use the word perceiving, which is very seldom, it's in reference to the isness, and it's not what I've figured out here in the personal creation of what is taking place. There is a difference. So it is in the seeing and being realistic with that. It's about your real awareness and from that point. So in the meantime, yes, in creation, creation is going to be what it is. It is mass confusion. And this is where people want peace and justice and all these things. I wrote a group many years ago. It's called There Is No Justice. Again, people are chasing their thrills. They want the thrill of peace, happiness, and all these things. That's fine. Okay. You can have it for a moment. That's about it. That's all you're going to get. It's just like the little bunny rabbit that's hopping out there out of its hole in the ground and wants that carrot over there. It wants peace and happiness too. But at the same time, hey, there's hawks in the air. There's coyotes and wolves out there, because those creatures have a right to survive too. And they survive on rabbits and other little creatures too. So again, it's a dog eat dog world, you might say. And so, this is how it is. It's waking up to what creation is and not getting caught up with thinking that you can think it through and it's going to become so. It's learning to see it and then learning to stand real in your real awareness with that. So, yes, so in the meantime, again, when people are going through these situations, Charles, and they have these attacks, they have these tap linings, well, there is some form of agreement there. I see this with those that I'm with as we're doing the galactic thing, and that's they have made certain agreements to allow this influence, okay, to allow it. And so it is happening. So, but through that, we're figuring it out. So when people have these negative influences, it's kind of like this. Okay, so they come into the new presentation. We'll use this as an example, but we'll just use a reference as where'd they come from? Did they come from the corporation? Did they come from religion or whatever? Well, guess what? All those ideas that they've built up and agreed to unconsciously, they're in the unconscious and they're still there. And if it's not even from this lifetime, but past lifetimes, and this is where they're coming through. They're coming through the back door somewhere, you see? And so the boys can shut that off. Sometimes they do. It just depends if the person needs the lesson or not. You might say, in other words, it's not really a lesson so much, but if the person needs to become more aware because of that experience to face it themselves. So there is always some kind of agreement, and it's not going to be perfect here. I have agreements to so many things that I deal with. I'm open to everything. So I have to deal with everything, and I get attacked and have to deal with it too, because I'm agreeable to what I'm doing here. And besides what I'm presenting to the world, just that alone sets up an attack for me to deal with. You see, I have agreements to do this, and that sets up the attack, you see? So as Charles, as people come to this, yeah, see, they're working off the old ideas again. They want a savior. And I get it. So this is where you have to take the time to define this for them. We are not saviors. I wrote a group. We are not therapists. We don't do this. You have to learn to see what we really do. And that is that, first of all, is a presentation, and you need to take the time to learn a real education and what real guidance is. And again, the begging and the praying and the worshiping and the wanting and all these things that the personal self has come to know. Yeah, you need to face that and get beyond it. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck with it. That's very real. And look at your subconscious area, look at your own etheric realm and see what is there. Now, when I taught years ago, and I'll use the word teaching, and after I took the rod of power, there are certain people in the class at that time, and I remember this one person that I knew very well, and they didn't really step up sincerely, but at a certain point they did. And when they did, when they sincerely stepped up and they recognized this, the real guides came into the real side and pulled Joni and Harold out of their subconscious that was still there, and they told the experience as an example, the influence. But in the meantime, they were still hanging on, and they were influenced by things, but they didn't know why, you see. So until they, really sincerely 100% stepped up in their own way, I can't say it's 100%, but from what I saw, that all of a sudden this became exposed. They show them, and again, they still have the agreement, so they pulled them out. It's like, do you want them still here? They came into the house, which is the personal self on the real side, like the military. They came in like stormtroopers, kind of like SWAT comes into the house with the FBI, breaks down the door, goes through the whole house. They go upstairs. All of a sudden, there's Joni and Harold hiding in the closet somewhere in the attic, which is the unconscious part of ourselves, etc., and brings them out, and then asks the person, do you still want these two here, or we'll take care of them? You decide. So this is what is taking place, Charles, like never before. Look at the difference between what is being presented here and the so-called religious and goody-goody spiritual paths. Everything is glazed over with them, isn't it? It's all good. Just trust the master and he will take care of everything. Listen to the pretty words, but actually what he'll do is tap line you until you have cancers. That's just very, very real, because again, everybody's in love with their astral body and the sensations, and they'd all go hug each other, which is fine. So again, this is what they do. They spend their time hugging each other, and that's cute. And again, people think that, the love idea, which is just sensations, is going to cure the world and everything else. Well, the world keeps getting worse. But people keep trusting in the idea that God will take care of this, and this is a big test for us. Well, it is a big test, and good luck if you get through it. And again, looking to authorities to fix it, while these same people go out there and do whatever they want and keep agreeing to demise. So how's that going to be fixed? Look at the agreements. Who will take the time? So what they're doing is they're looking at the surface presentation here, thinking in their minds and not really seeing what's taking place. There is a difference between thinking and seeing, Charles. And seeing is the big picture, because the real seeing is seeing something that you can't see and what you've never seen before, totally unknown and endless. Who can do that? Go ahead,
Yeah, Duane, that's really enlightening. This week, I had two confrontations. I don't know whether it's my own uh, tests or what. I went to this religionists, these fundamentalists. They will not allow people have a rest with their religion. Uh, where a group of foreigners here in China went out to have fun at a restaurant, and the conversation veered towards religion. There's one lady, Janet, from it's a Hungarian American, and, clashed this subject of is it religion or spirituality or anything. She firmly believes in God, and she was like going to convince me, the apostate, the atheist, to abandon everything I'm doing and come over to God. God will save me. Then this morning I had another one again from my sister, the younger sister. Instead of just saying, brother, good morning, how are you doing? It's a long time. She wrote an elaborate message there. How the blood of Jesus uh, will save me if I just repent of my sins and believe in Him that He died on the cross for me and all the life. I was really pissed off. So I just banged her. I told her never to write such things again to me. If she has nothing more to say, nothing else to say, better stay here. Fundamentalism. That is what is that is what is really that's a hindrance. Is not even a hindrance. We're not out to achieve any result. Just to present the facts. So these are the two confrontations I had this week. Very explosive. This subject of Jesus Christ being the only Son of God who died on the cross for me, and then to repent from my sins and have a and be saved. This idea of being saved. So, my sister, I'm not in any danger and I don't need anybody to save me. She wrote again. She said, if she were near me, she would pray for me and lay hands on me for me to be delivered. It's like I'm possessed. I need to be delivered. So again, this is this is how those out there who don't know what we're doing is what they think about us. We're possessed. We're Antichrist, 666, those states and all of that. This I come to the end of the show, and I thank everyone for listening. Yeah.
So basically, Charles was confronted by people he knows, and even his sister, and idea, which we know is the old repent idea, and this and that, and Jesus save you and be delivered, whatever. Again, it's interesting, kind of like pizza, you be delivered to who? The Callum God for more tap lining. You see, as you agree to these things. So we know these things. I'm not going to go over this. But anyhow, yes, Charles, thank you very much. And I'm going to have Kelsey, if you would, Kelsey or Henry or Eric or whoever, let's do a little practice session before the next African Skype here, and let's get this little buzzing out of this thing. And if we have to do some new wires or something, Charles, will you please take the time? Because we like to hear you, but it's very, very difficult from our end to hear you. I grab the words, and so a lot's been said, a lot of definition here because we appreciate you coming up. And it's the up to the date news of what's going on in the world. And again, I'm here for everybody. That's why I take the time all the time, because I know this is very, very difficult to get through with what is going on in creation, because we're being bombarded with not only the surface world, that's actually kind of the easier part. It's the subliminal and all the other levels to even get to the point of recognizing our real awareness, because there is so much going on the real side. And this is the big challenge. But this is how it is, but it can be done. And so again, step up, be a new supporter, start sharing something, get out of yourself, forget yourself, do something real, take the risk, do something you've never done before. All right. With what we're presenting and the real guides here, you will see it makes a difference. You decide. So yes, until next time, Charles, thank you. Thank you, Charles. We'll see you next time. It's only going to get better and better. Just become more and more aware. That's the fun part. Thank you. It's all for everybody here. Thank you.